Coming up, NFL playoff games on Nickelodeon.
Fashion companies are making medical masks.
And we talk with the Syracuse musician who went on American Idol.
This is the Unpeeled podcast, and it starts right now. Welcome to the brand new Unpeeled podcast. I'm Max Chadwick.
And I'm Carmella Boykin. Now, we're not on campus for a normal show because Syracuse, of course, has shut down due to the coronavirus.
However, the show must go on, and we're coming here to give you your weekly entertainment news in a slightly different form.
So to kick things off, the NFL is punting a playoff broadcast to Nickelodeon. The kids' channel is set to air one of the NFL's wildcard playoff games next season alongside its parent station CBS, and the broadcast will be tailored for younger viewers.
Yeah, Carmella, in their new collective bargaining agreement, the NFL and the Players Association agreed to add an extra wildcard team to each conference in the playoffs, going from a 12-team playoff to 14. This means that there will be an extra wildcard game in each conference.
And Max, according to Deadline, the other new game will be aired on Telemundo and streamed on NBC. But CBS really isn't the only one looking to reach a new audience by broadcasting on Nickelodeon to its younger fans. As I mentioned before, NBC will also look to reach the Hispanic audience by broadcasting on Telemundo.
And for me, Carmel, look, this is an excellent news for football-loving parents of young children. Look, my siblings always wanted the television to watch cartoons, often interrupting football for me and my parents. Now, though, there's a way for them to be together in the most important time for football, the playoffs.
And Max, there's really no word on how this broadcast is going to be tailored for younger fans yet, but I'm really excited to see how it's going to play out because I feel like it's just a really great way to get kids involved in sports.
And Carmelo, I have a really good idea in my opinion. So instead of the winning coach being doused with like Gatorade at the end, it should be the Nickelodeon slime that they douse on the coach.
I think that would be here for that.
Awesome. I think that'd be awesome. But let's stay with NBC for a little bit. A popular Law and Order SVU character is getting their own spinoff.
According to Deadline, NBC has ordered a 13-episode series starring Christopher Maloney as Elliot Stabler. The show will center on Stabler's crime unit in New York.
Yeah, and this is the first show announced as a part of writer Chris Wolf's 5-year deal he signed with Universal Television last month. And look, this is the first show from legendary producer Dick Wolf, as I just said, after he signed a massive deal for NBC for 5 years and close to $1 billion. That's right, billion with a B. dollars.
Wow. Now, Maloney was the lead man on Law & Order SVU for the first 12 seasons of the series, if you remember, way back when, before being written off the show. He was also nominated for an Emmy for Best Lead Actor in a Drama for the series in 2006.
Yeah, look, and he stayed busy after leaving SVU as well. He headlined series like Happy and Surviving Jack, while also having a critical role on The Handmaid's Tale. So he stayed busy through all this, but look, it's a very exciting time for him right now.
Oh, for sure. And I loved seeing him on Pose. He's on that show. He's fantastic in it. But I really miss Max. I don't know about you, but I remember watching him as well as Olivia Benson together, Detective Benson. They were fantastic. They were a dynamic duo. And I'm really looking forward to maybe even seeing a crossover between the two.
Oh, that would be amazing. I'm really looking forward to this. I've watched a little bit of the SVU series, but I think this spinoff is right up my alley. So
it's going to be so good. And moving into more pressing news, we know that the coronavirus has caused our busy world to stop, but that doesn't mean that there aren't good stories coming out in Syracuse and around the world.
Yeah, that's right, Carmella. We at Unpeeled took inspiration from actor John Krasinski's YouTube show, Some Good News, because we really could use a show that talks about the good things that happen every day.
So here we bring you a few good stories that we found from the past week.
So, Carmella, my first one is that this virus is obviously affecting everyone, even some of the world-class athletes who are in tip-top shape. Look, take Marcus Smart, for example, who was a guard on the NBA team, the Boston Celtics. He was diagnosed with the coronavirus a couple of weeks ago. He has fortunately since recovered and is now donating some of his blood plasma for sick patients because they think the plasma can help sick patients fight off the virus better. And look, he wasn't the only player to do this. 3 other unidentified players have also donated some of their plasma. So it's really cool to see like big time stars like this really helping out with all the people who maybe are less fortunate.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And blood is definitely really needed right now. So if you are able to donate blood, it's important to do so because it's definitely in need. And also in line with the good news about the virus, Adam Sandler debuted his quarantine song on Jimmy Fallon via video call, where he sings about the brave doctors and nurses and the hospital equipment, how the doctors and nurses will save us all, and how teaching math to kids can't be good for anyone involved. He's wearing some sunglasses, he's got a baseball cap, he looks like a true quarantined rock star.
Look, anytime Adam Sandler drops a song, some good news, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure.
So coming up on Unpeeled, we break down how the music business is finding ways to entertain people during this pandemic.
And we take a look at how fashion companies are helping out in these desperate times. Unpeeled, we'll be right back.
Come on, it's not that hard.
My big man fingers are having a problem with these little tiny buttons.
Whoa, watch it there. Your blood pressure's gonna go through the roof.
Tell me about it. I'm trying to learn how to get it down. Instead, it keeps going up.
High blood pressure can increase the risk for heart attack or stroke. Learn how to keep yours at a healthy range.
Ever hear a voice command? Just say text barbershop to 97779.
That's not what I said.
Just give me that. Now my blood pressure's up.
Now, there's a lot of time to scroll through Instagram while we all try to flatten the curve and social distance, and some music stars are bringing their tunes to the comfort of your couch. Everyone from John Legend to Willie Nelson to Rex Orange County have been putting on virtual concerts for their fans while in quarantine. The concept has gained popularity since live music performances have been postponed, and this past weekend, Elton John has taken virtual performances to the silver screen with a COVID-19 benefit concert in collaboration with iHeartRadio and Fox. We have Unpeeled's music reporter Schuyler Rivera here to talk about what went down on Sunday. So, Schuyler, this concert was amazing, and Elton John hosted, but can you talk a bit about who performed?
Yeah, so Elton John started things off that he tossed it to Billie Eilish. There was Alicia Keys, Camila Cabello, Shawn Mendes, the Backstreet Boys. They were all there, socially distanced, of course. He also had Tim McGraw, Sam Smith, and he ended with the queen herself, Mariah Carey. But in between each performance, stars like Lady Gaga and Lizzo chimed in to encourage viewers to stay at home and give thanks to first responders and first-line healthcare professionals. There was a really emotional performance from a doctor working on the front lines who sung Imagine by John Lennon, and it was really, really great.
So, Skyler, I mean, I'm a big sports fan, and there's no sports right now, and really there's no music either. So how did this concert help change the tone in a TV guide that's news, and, well, more news?
Exactly. So iHeartRadio put on this concert in a time slot that they would have had their iHeart Music award show at. But the change of tone was super refreshing. It was really comforting to see all the stars at home and musicians at home just like us. But like you said, musicians have been putting, Carmella, live concerts on Instagram recently. And personally, I watched a couple. But this concert really felt different. I mean, I watched it in my living room where the news is playing 24/7. I'm always watching each press conference, everything. So it was really different, really refreshing. And I mean, I've watched a lot of benefit concerts before this, but this one seemed a lot more real and a lot more urgent than the others. I mean, they weren't really asking for money or putting a phone number at the bottom, but Elton John had like a quick monologue that talked about COVID-19 and his experience during the AIDS epidemic. And he encouraged viewers to donate to Feeding America and the First Responders Children Foundation. But this one was, I think, a game changer for benefit concerts. It was a lot more real, encouraged a lot of people to donate out of the goodness of their heart rather than just call the phone number at the bottom of the screen. But it also encouraged a lot of other stars to jump on this benefit concert bandwagon. So after Sunday's concert, music stars like Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood hosted one of their own.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting too to see on various social media, all sorts of industries have been doing live streams. Like you mentioned before, there are a lot of artists who've been doing live streams and live concerts as well. But one of my favorite performances had to have been, I don't know if you saw her perform. She performed an unreleased song and she was just sitting on her couch with the sun streaming in from the background. It was beautiful. But what do you think that this kind of performance means for music in the future?
I think the music scene is changing, and this was really just the start. While the performances weren't live, they were recorded and edited together. It was virtually flawless. I mean, like you said, her performed in her living room, very natural with the sunlit in the back. The Backstreet Boys performed from all different locations. There was no technical difficulties, no wardrobe malfunction. It was just really put together. But if you look at the past, big world events have changed the way music is. and this pandemic will definitely be the catalyst for lots of music in the future. I think lots more meaningful music too. So this concert really changed the way benefit concerts work. Like I said, this one was pre-recorded, and it made staying home feel more comfortable, made the viewers feel closer to the artists themselves. The people on the radio are doing just what we're doing at home, staying in and staying safe. So I would expect more music to come out of this in the next couple months, and definitely some more Instagram live concerts.
Skyler, I'll tell you what, I mean, this pandemic's bad news for everyone, basically, except for music fans, because right now all my favorite artists, seems like, are getting bored and they're just dropping songs like it's no tomorrow. So look, this pandemic's bad news for almost everything, but for music right now, it's been pretty awesome, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. Sam Hunt just dropped an album. Bob Dylan just dropped a 17-minute song. It's his first song in literally forever.
Whoa.
He talks about JFK assassination for 17 minutes. I mean, if that's your style, it keeps you busy for almost half an hour.
They're getting bored. They're just like us. They're getting bored. So, but our music reporter, Skyler Rivera. Skyler, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.
As the coronavirus pandemic continues to grow, many public health professionals have been calling for more protective equipment such as masks and gowns for first responders. Fashion brands around the world have stepped up during this time, turning over their factories and resources to produce as much equipment as possible and protect our doctors and nurses. Unpeeled lifestyle reporter Olivia Tomino is with us to break down how the fashion industry is fighting the coronavirus. Olivia, first of all, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.
So which brands are helping out during this crisis by converting their facilities and making different equipment?
There are really so many fashion brands that are stepping up right now and helping out. You've definitely heard of Zara and Gap or people that are using their factories to make masks for first responders. Zara specifically is expecting to make over 300,000 masks each week, so they're definitely doing their part. However, the biggest group of brands stepping up is the luxury brands. You have everything from Prada to Balenciaga, Gucci, Saint Laurent. They're all stepping up and making masks. Gucci specifically is hoping to produce over 1 million masks and 555,000 medical overalls by April 6th. So that's literally right around the corner, and that's how many they're producing that quickly. And the most amazing part about all of this is that they're going to donate all of these to hospitals free of cost. So you can definitely see that the fashion industry is coming together to support each other and fight the virus. And I think it's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. That's really awesome. And those are really great resources that are definitely needed. But are there any other brands who aren't able to donate their facilities? And how are they getting involved?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of brands that aren't able to specifically give their factories over to make these. So they're donating millions of dollars to coronavirus relief funds around the world. Actually, for example, Nike is pledging $15 million to various organizations, such as the Oregon Food Bank or the COVID-19 Solidarity Response Fund. So they're definitely doing great things with that. Another one that I loved was Saks Fifth Avenue is donating $1.3 million to specific places around the country. So, for example, New York Presbyterian Hospital, and the list goes on and on and on about the fashion industry getting involved and helping during this time. However, I think one of my favorite things that I saw was the initiative by Vogue and the Council of Fashion Designers of America called A Common Thread. This is led by Tom Ford and Vogue, and basically it is a fund that will help give back to fashion brands that need the help during this time, whether it's a smaller business or the companies that are stepping up right now and are going to need the funds eventually. So as you can see, the fashion industry is coming together not only to support each other, but also to fight the virus. So it's really a great time to be looking at the fashion industry.
So the fashion industry brands, a lot of them are supporting for the coronavirus, but how specifically can we help support those brands in their fight against the coronavirus?
Well, like I said, A Common Thread is a great initiative, and you can donate to that online really easily if you just Google it. So that's a great way to support these brands. Additionally, you can remember that since these brands are donating these things at free of cost to the hospitals, while they are big corporations, some of them will still need funds. So you can definitely support them if you can right now by ordering online or just supporting their business. And also during this time, if you can support local smaller fashion brands, that would also be a great thing to do because they need the help during this time as well. And that's obviously only if you can do that right now.
Awesome. Our fashion reporter, Olivia Tomino. Olivia, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Coming up on Unpeeled, we break down the scandal that has rocked the TikTok world.
And we hear from a former SU student on her experience with American Idol. Don't go anywhere.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
There's trouble brewing in the world of TikTok. Daisy Keech, a popular influencer on the app with 4 million followers and co-founder of the Hype House, has left the content creating group and is suing her other co-founders. She is taking legal action against creators Thomas Petru and Chase Hudson, who's better known as Lil Huddy, over events that transpired within the house that led to her departure. Keech says she was cut out of brand deals, decision-making, and control of the house's social media accounts, even though she played a major role in starting the group. Here to explain how it all went down is Unpeeled pop culture reporter Ella Mulligan. Ella, thanks so much for coming on. This is an insane story, it seems like.
Yeah, no, the things that have gone down in that house, you would not imagine. It's crazy.
So my little sister, who is an aspiring TikTok star, will probably kill me for asking this question, but what exactly is the Hype House?
Okay, so if you're familiar with Jake Paul's Team 10 house, it's pretty much the same thing, just with TikTok. It's a content creating house where basically a group of popular creators from the app all got together and decided to start living all with each other in order to make content with all these other super popular creators so that they can get more views and sponsorships, etc. And then it was founded by Daisy Keech, Thomas Petru, and Chase Hudson to really just like make this super group of TikTok stars.
Now, Ella, I'm assuming just like in Jake Paul's Team 10 house, there's a lot of drama, like you said. So when did Daisy say that things started going bad for her in the Hype House?
So Daisy said that at the beginning, when the Hype House was just being created, they were doing a lot of interviews, getting a lot of attention from the press, and she wasn't really feeling comfortable to speak up about her role in the house during those interviews because, unlike a lot of other creators that were in the house, she didn't have a manager present with her who was really pushing her to speak up about her experience. And then as they started getting more into just living in the house and creating more content in later interviews, Thomas and Chase started really taking all the credit for starting the house. And she was feeling really hurt by that, obviously. And so she tried to talk with them about it, and they kind of just brushed it off. They weren't really taking her seriously and were just like, yeah, sure, like saying whatever they could to please her. And it just started snowballing. Thomas started taking control of all the social media accounts, turning it into what she described as a dictatorship. And she continued to confront him, and he got pretty tired of that. So he eventually started cutting her out of events, wouldn't talk to her about her percentage for the house, wouldn't tell her what was going on. And eventually he forced everyone in the Hype House to unfollow and block her on all their social media accounts. So the tension between them got so bad that Daisy claims Thomas said this to her lawyer.
And he's like, you know what, I'm just more of a businessman, and like girls like Daisy, she's just like another hot Instagram model with a shelf life.
And then things just continued to go wrong, and eventually she left the house to go her own way.
I love the pettiness in this story. I think it's absolutely hilarious. Look, there's a lot going on, Ella, but what exactly does this lawsuit entail?
So this lawsuit is pretty much just trying to prevent anyone who's currently in the Hype House to make money off of the Hype House trademark, which Daisy filed and owns the rights to. It's also going to have her be paid any damages in regards to Thomas and Chase's unlawful conduct and her loss of goodwill, anything that she wasn't paid for while she was in the house, her attorney fees, and then any further relief she may require. Basically, she just wants payment for everything that she was left out of while she was there. And I mean, I can't blame her. This girl put $18,000 into that house, had her name on the lease, and then she was treated like she wasn't even important. So I can totally understand where she was coming from.
So this is clearly a volatile environment. I definitely understand why she wants her money back. $18,000 is a ton of money. So what are her plans for the future now that she's no longer going to be part of the Hype House?
Yeah, so on March 30th, a couple days after she released her first video about the Hype House, Daisy released a second video on her YouTube channel that showed the new place that she's living in, which she started calling the Clubhouse. It's a mansion in Beverly Hills, and you can probably already guess it's a bunch of TikTok creators living there and making content. So she's basically started a rival group to the Hype House and is just trying to create new content with all the people she's had join her new organization. Um, so we'll have to see where it goes from there with the whole, they're probably going to be big rivalry. So got to stay tuned and see what they got in store.
Our pop culture reporter, Ella Mulligan. Thank you so much.
Welcome back to Unpeeled. I'm now joined by Steph, a musical artist who made it to Hollywood Week of American Idol and is now working on her own music. So Steph, thank you so much for being here. And you talk a little bit about what your audition process for American Idol was like?
So the first round of auditions, there were 5,000 people my day in Brooklyn, and there were like 20 places there. There were 3 or 4 rounds, and it was an 8-hour day, and that was, you know, I had no expectations. I never really wanted to audition for the show. I haven't seen it in years. I used to watch it, but now it's new judges. It's a whole different type of show than it used to be. So I kind of went in blind. Like I didn't know what I was going into. After that whole, so those 3 or 4 auditions in the summer, if you pass through all those, then you go to the celebrity judges, which is 2 months later in October. But
in the room, when you were in the audition room, who was the most, who were you most intimidated by?
Okay, so walking in, I was honestly, so I heard that Katy Perry was like the Simon Cowell of the show. So I was kind of nervous about just like if she was going to be harsh with me and if that was going to like obviously be really hard to hear. But to be honest, I was the most excited and nervous about Lionel Richie because he's a legend and I respect him the most out of all of them. I mean, they're all great, but he's the legend. So I knew if I sang my original song, since he's such a great songwriter, I was just really nervous if he was going to like it or not, or what he was going to say. So I sat at the piano, I sang it. Lionel Richie loved it. He said it was genius. I cried. They did not show my audition. I was pretty upset, but not really surprised because I don't have a sob story.
When they said, okay, you've got a golden ticket, like what? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So when they said that to me, it was even more before that. It was just hearing like Lionel Richie actually like explain my songwriting abilities and how everything paralleled and made so much sense and how he told me that I could really build myself a brand. And then Katy Perry said that I have a very distinct sound and that you would know immediately like who it was if I was singing and that it'd be really good to mentor me. And it gave me just, you know, that was the best day of my life for sure. You know, afterwards you have all these interviews and, you know, it's an unimaginable feeling. I came out, my parents were crying, like, and the thing is my dad he's a very big realist. I'm an optimist. He's a realist. And while he believes in my abilities and he's always, you know, told me to pursue music, he's a little bit more realistic about it than I am. And I think that this showed him and like proved to him that like I'm not wasting my time and money, you know? So to me, just like seeing my parents' reaction was like the most exciting. But yeah, this is like the best trip of my life for sure.
So going forward in your career, what do you plan to do after college? What's the dream?
Okay, well, I'm coming out with a new artist project. I'm changing my stage name. I have been working on an EP that I was planning on releasing in May, or at least releasing a single off of the EP in May. But the problem is that now it's hard for me to record because of the quarantine. I recently just bought a microphone and I've been trying to teach myself how to produce, but it's not my specialty at all. So it's been really a big setback for me. I've been really honing my skills now more than ever and just writing a lot. But my plan is to, I was actually supposed to do my first New York City gig March 22nd and it got canceled because of this. But my plan is to build up a set of songs to release so that I have some sort of plan. I may release the single that I have because that's all I have right now, and depending on how long the quarantine goes for. But my long-term plan is to release a bunch of new music, and promote it the right way under my new name, which I'm going to come out with. It's a surprise. And, you know, it's a whole new vibe. And I think I've really honed in on like what is my sound, as opposed to Steph was kind of like not juvenile, but I just wasn't really sure like what my brand was. So I'm coming out with this new project I'm really excited about. I want to do a bunch of gigs and get more practice with performing live.
Thank you so much, Steph. Really appreciate your time.
No problem. Of course.
And best of luck.
That's all the time we have in Unpeeled. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media. I'm Max Chadwick.
And I'm Carmella Boykin. Stay safe, Syracuse.